Hello everyone. Today we have a very special guest for this video. He is a highly acclaimed entomologist as well as National Geographic photographer and writer and author of best-selling book Adventures Among Ants. The National Geographic has dubbed him the Indiana Jones of Entomology. Joining me today on the AntsCanada YouTube channel is none other than the Ant-Man himself, Mark Moffett. Thank you, Mark, for your time and for agreeing to participate in this interview. It's an honor to have you here.
Pleasure.
Okay, well, let's start by asking this. At what point in your life, Mark, did you feel that becoming an entomologist and furthermore a tropical explorer was your vocation?
An entomologist. And I wasn't really interested in entomology because we ant guys, we're kind of a separate clan from the rest of those entomologists, you know?
I
So,
agree.
as deep dark secret is I've never actually taken an entomology course. Don't put that on the web at all. You know, it's top secret stuff.
Right.
But I kind of learned it on my own and passed through it. That's what I'll say. And then, you know, as I say, we're a special clan. I always knew I wanted to be part of that clan. Growing up, I didn't have the book for it until I found in junior high school Ed Wilson's The Insect Societies, and then I had my Bible,
Yeah.
and I could go out there and look for the things. I had no idea. I didn't even know like 1/3 of the words in the Insect Societies. I just knew it was cool. So that's how I got started.
Interesting. Yeah, actually at the store we've coined the term ant love for that innate fascination people just seem to have for ants over other animals. What, in your opinion, is it about ants that just draws people into them and finds them fascinating? Is it their organization? Is it their communication systems? What do you think it is?
Well, you know, I always remind people when they think that this is a very confusing thing to do that I remind them that what went wrong was with them because they were down with me in the diapers at 6 months old watching ants. So, you know, what happened to you? And I just kept doing what was natural, and what's natural is that like little kids even understand that ants share this commonality with humans. They're highly social beings. They're building, creating, they're hunting together. All the things we see on TV that humans do, you know, the ants are doing it right there. You don't need the TV. Throw it out. Watch your ant colony.
It's so true. Well, if you look behind me, I've got about 37 of them, and they entertain me for hours. But I totally agree. It's truly amazing. When I first discovered when I was struck with ant love, it was hard to shake off afterwards. Now, the National Geographic calls you the Indiana Jones of Entomology. Were there any times during your adventures when you felt your life was in danger, or at least scary, while studying the ants in the field?
Well, I worried one or two times that Jack Longino would try to kill me to take the title. But, you know, he's an ant guy. Enders, that's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
So I don't want to really hold this title too close because, you know, ants are all female, but male ant researchers, they're a macho group. To be killed by the ants, no, probably not necessarily by the ants. I do recount in the book one episode where I'm down on my hands and knees in what I call the compromising position common to ant researchers, following an ant trail up a hillside in Thailand, and it takes quite a while for me to track these ants. It's a 100-yard trail, so I get to the top of the hill, down on my hands and knees still, and I suddenly feel something strange. I'm next to a tree where the ants are nesting. I'm excited, but I feel something, and I look up, and there's a bull elephant standing over me, who apparently mistook me for a mouse and ran off, luckily, because he could just as well come forward and smushed me. And the really cool thing is I'm looking up at this thing, and I'm seeing its eyebrow blink, and I'm thinking, well, this must be what an ant sees when it's...
That's hilarious. The dangers of your work. You're very dedicated. Actually, this next question comes from the AntsCanada Ant Store CEO, Don Berard, who happens to live on the other side of Canada in Calgary, who also read your book. Everyone on our team has read your book. He wanted to know, you know, journeys have taken you to all places, to so many places in the world. Is there one place that you hold dear to your heart that you love to visit and, explore?
Well, it's hard to say. For ants, it's hard to beat South America. And it's true that it's hard to beat perhaps Brazil. Still, as a place to visit, Venezuela with the Tepui Mountains and the extreme landscapes is extremely cool. And I know a very great explorer there who's kind of a buckaroo cowboy. Last time I saw him, he had more bullet holes in his shoulder from another run-in with miners at the border with Colombia. That's Charles Brewer. So he's always a great guy to visit. So many distractions that sometimes the ants don't play into it because I'm just trying to stay alive around this guy.
There you go, the Indiana Jones of Entomology. Actually, I wanted to talk more about your book, Adventures Among Ants. It's taken over the world by storm. Congratulations. And
wow, I hadn't actually heard that. There's actually a storm going on? This
of course
cool.
It has. Oh, yeah.
Weather systems.
Could you tell us more about the book and what readers can expect?
Well, it's a very curious book. I was actually trying to do something a little different because I grew up reading adventure books of naturalists, like Humboldt and Darwin and Wallace. And then the more recent adventure books have all been about, pandas and elephants and whatnot. Wallace would talk a lot about insects and some of the people back in those days. But we kind of drifted from that. And I figured I should show that it's possible to do an adventure book about something like an ant. That, in fact, the stories are more remarkable because, in fact, what do lions, tigers, and bears do? They walk towards something. Maybe there are two or three of them. They grab it together. But it's not complicated. It's they're big, but otherwise there's not much going on there.
Yeah,
I
totally.
think they have big brains, but I don't know. Ants are like there's a billion things happening at once.
So true.
So I try to fill up those stories.
Yeah, no, it's definitely amazing the amount of complexity that you've been able to illustrate in the book, and the photographs are amazing. Did you take the photographs yourself, all of them?
Yes, I did. It's I'm not interested in photography at all. Photography totally bores me. That's the reason for my success in it. I always remind people to, if they want to become photographers, become bored by it. Because what they should be interested in is their topics. When you find something like an ant and tell a story about it, then you got something to say. There are just billions of people who are taking pictures now, but it's the story that should be first.
I see.
And if you find the story, you can do anything. National Geographic, wherever you want to go, you can go.
That's great perception of it. Now I see that chapters 6 to 8 is dedicated to the African army ant, belonging to the genus, is it Dorylus? How do you?
Dorylus, yes.
Dorylus. Yeah, and wow, like growing up, we're told as kids that they were ferocious ants, and we've seen the nature shows, and just looking at their mandibles, it's crazy. What was it like studying them in their home territory?
Well, there's nothing quite like Dorylus. There may be a reason that almost all documentaries about army ants are done in South America. Dorylus coming at you can be 100 feet width of ants in a dense carpet, and
wow.
With the jaws that are like little knife blades. And so I would end up scrambling through these things, and it literally is like jogging through ants just to escape them. You can readily see how a smaller creature would be taken down by them rather readily, and occasionally something even larger. So it is an extraordinary experience, and it's the extreme of ant behavior. And I'm really interested in army ants because there's all this. To me, army ants are first and foremost, the reason we call them army ants is that they have this mass hunting, this group hunting, and too much of the literature has been taken over with ideas about like all the other accessory things that they do, like the form of their queen and the fact that they migrate from place to place, that they're nomadic. And in fact, I don't think any of those things are essential to the idea of being an army ant. So one of the fun things about doing a book is you can kind of play with ideas that you can't in a normal paper. And I talk about the fact that army ants actually do a whole bunch of things. The individuals are constrained by each other. They're close enough that the communication between them is nearly instantaneous. The group moves along a path. There's no leader or scouts. They don't target a particular food source. There are all these aspects to the strategy of their mass hunting which is their army-like behavior that we're so intrigued by when we see it. And you can imagine all kinds of variations on that may actually be out there. No one's really separated them out and looked at them. So I kind of play on that a bit in those chapters.
That's amazing. You know, the coherence, I guess, of their hunting strategies is really amazing. Is it true they can kill a horse? I heard somewhere that they're capable of bringing down like livestock.
Do you need a horse killed? Because I know a guy.